Alrighty, we're really having a ball, you all. Right here, reminiscing with Bandstand 73 and some of the beautiful people that made it possible over the years to bring you an ABC TV show are with us tonight. And of course, the man that's responsible for the whole thing is Mr. Tony Mammarella. Tony, welcome. Let's hear it for our man. Tony, welcome. It really is a pleasure for me being with you here at the show. And also with Tony is Jody Sands, who had a popular record. The year was 1957. Right, Jody? Jody Sands is here. Next to Jody is, I guess, America's most popular druggist, pop singer. Let's hear it for Bob. Over the years, the show has grown with popularity. And only one man I attribute the popularity of American Bandstand locally here in Philadelphia. I, as a young teeny bopper, was on the show. This is the gentleman that so rightfully deserves the credit. Tony Mammarella, for 21 years. It's overdue.
I'd like to correct that. I'd like to really correct that. I'm flattered, and I thank you for it. I'd like to correct that. There are a couple of men and a lot of kids and a lot of music that are responsible for the success, and I would be derelict. I don't know about other people, but for myself. The one man who was responsible for this show was Bob Horn.
Definitely he also.
And it was his show. He created it.
Humble Tony, once again. Humble Tony.
No, that's truth and humility are not always the same thing. That happens to be the truth. Bob, as you know, is passed on. The original show, the first day we opened, had a co-MC, Lee Stewart, who was also a very talented and a very nice and a very warm-hearted guy. And he helped in the early days of Bandstand. Lee Stewart is also, I regret to say, no longer with us. On the thing. Later on, Lee did his own morning show, and Bob did it as a solo, as a single MC. But if any one person deserves credit for the creation of Bandstand, it was Bob Horn. And I was very happy to be associated with the show from the very beginning.
In other words, Tony, Bob had the original conception of the dancing with the young people in the studio back in 1952.
Well, October 1952, we were the first show of its kind to go on the air. Now, Bob was the first to admit that the idea of kids dancing in a studio was not necessarily unique, but nobody ever thought of putting it on television.
Right.
Because the idea in those days was, who's going to watch a bunch of kids dancing, you know? And what they didn't understand was they didn't understand just human nature. People like to watch people.
That's right, but I think one thing that Tony overlooks, too, it's the coordination. And if it wasn't for Tony coordinating all the young people and telling us to not chew gum and don't do this and don't do that, I don't think we would have had the popular show that we did, fortunately received from the Philadelphia area. Then, of course, it emanated over from Philadelphia to over 150 stations in the nation, right?
Oh, yeah, we went national. That was in '57. That was after Bob Horn's days. That was, Dick Clark was then the MC. I did the show as a buffer for 3 months, and
right.
then Dick